In this lesson, we're going to continue using dependency injection technique to continue providing some of the data to descending components. And in this lesson, we're going to provide activities array to TimelineItem component, because currently it is passed from root component all the way down to TimelineItem component. So let's switch over to the app component, and here let's use provide function code to provide access to activities array. And since activities array is stored within a reactive variable, we should reference value property to get access to this underlying array. And now there is no need to pass this array as a prop to the timeline component. So let's remove this line. And inside of the timeline component, we can easily remove prop declaration, activities, as well as validation function, validate activities. And since this array was previously passed to every TimelineItem component as activities prop, now we no longer need to do this. So we can remove this prop from here, and then let's go inside of TimelineItem component and remove corresponding prop declaration, as well as import of that validation function validate activities. Because since we have provided activities array from the app component to all descendant components, we can use inject function in this component to get access to activities array from the root component. Let's just do it above the select activity function in here. We're going to create new constant called activities, and by using inject function call, we're gonna get reference to activities array like this. And now wherever we have referenced activities array within this component, we were doing it by using props object. But now since this object is no longer a prop, we're basically going to reference this array as normal constant like this. And after this, if we take a look at the Vue DevTools, in the provided section we can see new entry, our activities array. So we no longer pass this array as a prop within TimelineItem component, but still everything works as before. We can select an activity, then start tracking time for this activity, and on the activities page, this remaining time will be decreasing. And after we have provided access to activities array to descendant components, we can do the same thing for another array, activity select options, which is used within TimelineItem component. And this array holds options for the activity select box on the timeline page and used to be passed as a prop options within base select component, which is responsible for showing select box. I am talking about this select box right above the stopwatch. So initially, array of options for this select box is declared within the root component by using this computed property. And every time we add or remove activities, activities reactive array will be modified, and hence this computed property will be recalculated, and activity select options constant will get different array of options for the select box. And now we're going to provide access to this activity select options array by using the provide function call, as we have done before with TimelineItems and activities arrays. And now we no longer need to pass one more property activity select options into the timeline component. Along with that, we can also remove declaration of activity select options prop inside of the timeline component and import of validation function validate select options. Also, there is activity select options prop which is passed into TimelineItem component. We don't need to do this anymore, because we're going to access this array directly by using inject function call within TimelineItem component. So there is no need for prop called activity select options in this component, and import of validation function validate select options can also be removed. So now let's go ahead and finally get access to activity select options array directly by using inject function call. We're going to create new constant activity select options, call inject function with appropriate key activity select options. And this way we can simply pass activity select options array as a prop options into base select component, what we're doing in here. So in the Vue developer tools, inside of a provided section, we have a new entry for activity select options array. And we access this array directly within TimelineItem component in order to display options for this activity select box. And to do this, we are passing activity select options array from TimelineItem component into base select component as a prop with the name options. And our activities select box works as before.